Used more by metal workers, C-clamps can give very powerful clamping forces. In fact, so much force that they generally will mar wood. So you will have to introduce some small blocks of wood between the jaws and what you're gluing. Much better than a C-clamp is a screw clamp, which has been around for centuries. The earliest ones had wood screws. This one was used by my great-grandfather in the late 19th and early 20th century in the Hudson River Valley. Today, we use metal spindles, which allow easier operation and much higher clamping pressures. They are sold by the length of the jaws, this being an 8-inch clamp, 10, 12, and 14-inch respectively. The trick to using a screw clamp is to spin it in your hands like this to make it bigger or smaller. If you keep the back spindle in your right hand, it will be quite natural for you to open and close it. And what you want to do is to bring it just a little bigger than the work, position it where you want to, and then only turn the back screw right here. This acts as a fulcrum point, and this acts as a jack, allowing you to place great pressure without appreciably marking the work. Gluing the edges of planks together to form panels I covered in another video, but the clamp we use for this task is a bar clamp, which allows us to put great pressure at regular intervals to create a strong joint. Let's take a look at some of your options. The simplest and cheapest bar clamp is what's called a pipe clamp. You simply buy a kit of hardware in the $15 to $20 range that you can put a piece of black pipe between and create a clamp of any length you need. A more resilient industrial type clamp is a true bar clamp, which uses a forged I-beam section and allows great clamping pressure with no flexing of this I-beam. There is also a wide variety of high-grade clamps today that have parallel jaws, or in the case of these two Jorgensens, allow you to put pressure at a great distance from an edge. Clamping small furniture parts, such as the drawer stops in this small chest with a drawer below, can be a challenge. A great aid is what's called a spring clamp, which is just a giant paper clip which you simply clamp over the piece until the glue dries. And in fact, office paper clips work quite well for the same task. Another great way to hold small parts in furniture assemblies is wire or finished nails. Our ancestors did this a great deal, as you can find out by looking inside antique furniture. I held these two shelf support brackets in place with two wire nails. If you have an 18 gauge air nailer, it can be very handy indeed as a quick clamping device. Clamping round and irregular objects is always a challenge. I clamped this coopered birdhouse body by using hose clamps, which are inexpensive and give very high clamping pressures. Another good scheme is to use rubber bands for irregular things, which will conform to ovals and odd shapes well. A relatively heavy weight makes a great clamp. If you have bubbled veneer in the center of the 12-foot conference table, it may be the only game in town. Some things that I have found to work well over the years are bricks. Cover them with duct tape. They won't mar the wood. Sandbags, you can make them yourself. Just fill a canvas bag with sand and they'll conform to very irregular surface, holding things down while that glue dries. Hand planes are available in most shops, and there's usually a size that fits the situation. And while the glue is drying, sharpen the blade for heaven's sakes. Finally, there's the anvil. Until next time, this is Ernie Conover saying, don't forget to clamp those glue joints.